The Super Bowl, Taylor Swift, Jon Stewart, and Bitcoin mean reversion. What do these four things have in common? And before you answer that question, bear in mind the premise. February 2024. And that is the time when, in case you're watching this at some point in the future, when the Super Bowl was happening for that year. And I think it's 57 or something like that. Two teams playing with the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the team that won was the Kansas City Chiefs. And there was a pop singer named Taylor Swift, who was extremely popular at the time. Had some kind of record-breaking ticket sales on her tour, stadiums, and the like. So, music fans, pop music fans specifically, were watching American football more because of her appearances at various games, since her romantic interest at the time was a player on the Kansas City Chiefs team. So they were a couple that was constantly in the news. So obviously that meant that the event itself, by itself was already the most watched TV event of any given year in America, because that's what the Super Bowl is. It's not just the most watched event in America, it's actually like one of the most watched events on TV every year, worldwide, because millions of people watch it as well outside of America every year. And they don't even get to see the ads usually. Usually you have to watch the ads on the internet after they run. And I know when you're saying, wait, what? Well, as a person who has an interest in marketing, for me, the ads are actually the best part. I know people hate the ads. Some people love the ads. For me, honestly, if it wasn't for the ads, I wouldn't even know who won or anything like that, probably, because it wouldn't be on my radar. But no, I get it. Some people can't stand the ads. Respect, But to me, as a marketer, it's important to know what the messages are. So I look over them, the next day or the day after, or usually within some days, just to get a gist of what the ads are like. Because sometimes it's relevant for future stuff, for various campaigns. It's good trivial reference and stuff like that, and other ideas. But anyway, why am I talking about the Super Bowl in this video about marketing and or trading? Well, because Super Bowl is a sporting event, yes. It is a sporting event that is probably the most heavily marketed sporting event of all sporting events that happen on an annual basis. It's extremely heavily marketed, right? And it's like this cultural phenomenon in America. Well, what else is a cultural phenomenon in America? Well, that pop singer, right? And celebrity gossip and news and all this stuff. Consumers, by and large, truly enjoy consuming that content, whether they admit it or not. Most people don't even like to admit it. But if you look at the gross number of people that actually watch that kind of content, you'll see that it's pretty staggering. And if they didn't like it, they would block it or unlike it or do something to trigger the algorithms to know not to feed it to them. But most people do enjoy it, so they don't trigger the algorithms to not show it to them. So the point is, popular culture, gossip, celebrity news, all this kind of stuff, it's popular for a reason. It's called pop culture for a reason, because it actually is popular, whether snooty intellectuals would like to admit it to themselves or not. Whether they like that fact or not, it is in fact a fact. Now, does it make that particular, low bar of culture content better just because a lot of people like it? No, it certainly does not. Is it high quality content to really care about the goings on of the private relationships of people who just happen to live in the public spotlight a little bit because of the nature of their work? I really don't think so. I don't think it makes the quality of that content any better, and I don't think it makes the nature of the content any better. And I honestly could not care less, really, about the details of any person's private relationships. I could not care less. However, I find it interesting that you can tell a lot by the engagement rates of that kind of content. How many people view videos, read articles, like and comment on, videos or articles or podcasts or whatever. Right? How many people sign up to things? How many more people watch the Super Bowl because some particular pop star is at an event or is dating a player or is whatever, involved very tangentially, quite literally sitting on the sidelines or way up in the luxury suite boxes, right? And yet somehow that person's interest in the game, right, of football is suddenly the thing that makes the game interesting to far more people who normally aren't interested in that game at all. And you know what? Good for the sport. And good for that pop singer's brand if that pop singer is able to bring such legions of people to be aware of the sport more or whatever, participate, etc. Right? It has no negative bearing, in my opinion. I just think it's kind of funny that anyone is surprised by it, because these are two industries, pop culture and pop sports. Right? Football is a pop sport after all. Right? What does pop mean? Popular, right? Well, football is one of the most pop sports there is, certainly in America, right? It may be, if baseball is America's pastime, football may be, I don't know what you'd call it, America's second favorite sport or something. I don't know. Maybe favorite profession. I don't know. But it's right up there, So, football, basketball, baseball, those are, and hockey, I guess, are by far the most popular professional sports, obviously, with the biggest professional leagues in America. And this has, effectively, you could argue it has no impact in the big picture, whether or not one person happens to be more interested in the sport. And even if 100 million more people took any kind of interest in football this year around the world by looking at an article or seeing a video or whatever, clicking on a game for 2 seconds, right? It has a negligible impact, even if it's 100 million people. Now I know you're thinking, that's crazy, Yasha. 100 million people, that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. But if 100 million people saw an ad for a second or watched a YouTube video about some pop celebrity interested in some sport for 2 seconds, but then they didn't do anything with that information, it's negligible, it's moot. It means nothing. Now, if out of that 100 million, some amount were converted to be diehard football fans of one team or another, or subscribed to some package of watching games in the hopes that they might see some pop celebrity make an appearance for 2 seconds, okay, then there's a very, very minor impact. Right? Even if a million of them made that decision, because even if a million of them made that decision, there's all the additional costs that go into getting those people to sign up in the first place, maintaining their subscription, and trying to keep them. And the moment that celebrity stops to these games, then that would basically probably cancel most, if not all, of the people who signed up to watch anything. Some might stay because they'd be like, oh wow, I like this thing now I'll do this, right? But a lot of them will just be like, no, the only reason I signed up is to watch this person, and if that person's not on the screen, they're not going to watch, right? If they don't see Taylor Swift, they don't want to watch the game, even though she's not a football player. She just makes an appearance, and that's fine. But I think it makes a negligible impact long term. It's good for short-term boosting of ratings for the football games. It's good for, branding, kind of, in the sense of they're making it more appealing to a wider audience, like, I guess, teenage girls or girls, women in their young 20s or something. Which, I think that's pretty much who her brand appeals to, her brand of music, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who she widely appeals to. And that's great, whatever. Everybody's, makes music, and whoever likes it, likes it. Everybody who makes music, they do what they do, and whoever their fans are, God bless them. Yeah, what does that have to do with Bitcoin and mean reversion, Yasha? Well, actually, I will tell you that in the next episode. Happy marketing.